You're listening to United We Scan podcast. The views and opinions expressed are not that of the United States Postal Service or the National Rural Letter Carriers Association. If you are in need of assistance pertaining to the rural craft, please contact your local steward or assigned district representative. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 13. Hey, guys, we're teenagers now.
Yay!
How's it going, Bill?
Oh, it's going well. I had both the grandsons this weekend. Had my drop day off. It's like, nothing could be better. I mean, life's good.
Nice. Mike, how's your past week been?
My past week was okay. We got through the survey without any major problems. I had to work my drop day again, and so today was my only day off this week, and I thoroughly enjoyed it by not doing nothing.
That's always good days. Good days when you don't have to do anything. Josh is going to be joining us a little later today, so my week wasn't too bad. No major issues on the recs and just stuff in the office. The normal, work my aux route and assist the other RCA. And then I had Friday and Saturday off for my state spring booster. So I left Thursday night and drove the 3 hours down to Ann Arbor. Yeah, I spent the weekend there, got home about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So, yeah, I'm a little tired.
So in big states like yours, do they try to rotate the booster meetings and convention sites? Like, we have 3 districts here in Kansas.
Yes.
And they try to rotate convention sites and booster sites, etc. So they do that in your state too.
Yes, our state convention actually this year is going to be up in the UP, up in Sault Ste. Marie at the Coyden Casino. Last year's state convention was in Pontiac. And then Fall Booster, where was Fall Booster at? Oh, that was in Bel Air, so that was sort of my neck of the woods. It's up north, but on the west side at Shanty Creek. And then this weekend we were in Ann Arbor. And the next booster in the fall we will be in Traverse City. So yeah, we rotate. We've done Battle Creek. We've done... I know we've had state convention at MSU and East Lansing. Yeah, we rotate pretty decently. And we have and we're hosting Mid-States next year, and that'll be in Muskegon, along Lake Michigan.
Okay. Well, we're going to have state convention is going to be at the same location as the Mid-States down at Wichita.
We did that in 2018 when we hosted National. We had state convention also at the Amway in DeVos, and yeah, it was a little costly for a state convention. But yeah, no, and they're always looking for new places to go, so I did attend the state board meeting Friday morning. Well, Friday all day, I should say. Started at 8 and we got done at 6 p.m. So, yeah. But tossing ideas out of other locations and whatnot for down the road. Yeah, so it was interesting at times.
Here in Pennsylvania, we only do it once a year with a state convention, and it's typically 3 days long. So, you go through the same thing as you do with the national. You get your little duties done and up and out of the way. Your speakers and all the first day.
Yeah.
And usually it's a waste. You know, I really want to listen to the Joy again. You know, nah. But the thing of it is that there are some good things come of it, but in general, it's more of just the same politics. The same geeky kids hanging out with their friends, and the nerds are over there, and the populace votes over there.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember one year we went, and where this one group of people had a table reserved, for dinner, and they had one chair open, so I went over and sat there. And they said, well, what are you doing? I said, the chair's open, isn't it? And they said, yeah, I paid for a ticket, right? Okay, I'm sitting here. I'll tell you what, that table was so quiet because they didn't want to say nothing in front of me. And I just sat there, smiled. Hi, how you doing? You good? Oh, looks good. Yours delicious. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. But they couldn't sit there and talk their normal smack.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I've been in those situations before too. They're like, oh, I'll come sit with you. Yeah. Yeah, we had our banquet last night and we played Pack Bingo. I won $50 on the second game. Woohoo. But yeah, and then I was making plans. I was talking to one of the other ladies, the one that walked around at caucus with me at National, Vanessa. She, her and I are making plans. I was telling her, I said, I think Reno next year I'm gonna fly. She's like, yeah. I said, yeah. That's kind of a bike haul driving out there by myself. I think I'm gonna fly, and I'll just rent a car. She goes, I'll split you with the rental car. I said, okay. And she's like, well, what airport do you normally fly out of? I said, I prefer Grand Rapids. She's like, me too. She goes, no, I mean, we'll get on the same flights. I said, all right, we can do that. I said, do you want a room together too while we're making plans? She's like, yeah, that'll work. My husband's not going. We can do that. I said, all right. And the couple of them turn around and look at him. You're already making plans for next year? Yep.
Damn straight, Skippy.
I did have somebody come up and ask me if I was going to surprise everybody again this year at National.
Okay.
What, by sleeping with Josh?
God, no. By running for office again.
Oh.
No, I'm not sharing a room with Josh this year. I already have my roommates, so.
Oh, damn. Hey, Mike, you got a bunkie then?
No, I'm not sure what I'm doing this year.
I mean, in all reality, I wouldn't even have to stay on property. I mean, my cousin lives, just on the other end of town there. My parents are all of, 40 minutes away. But I just don't feel like having to drive back and forth every day, so.
No.
The ex-in-laws are 30 minutes away. I mean, I could, but at the same time, like, no, I'd rather stay on property.
Remember those wise words of wisdom, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It is better to stagger to your room than to drive drunk.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Words I live by. I mean, somebody lives by. To live by.
Yeah.
At least I don't get that lost in the elevator.
And I, got my confirmation that I am a paid delegate to Mid-State, so that'll be nice. I get reimbursed since I didn't get upgraded to delegate at National. I was still on the alternate list. They take the top 10 alternates that didn't upgrade and then pay them to go to Mid-States if they're going. So.
Now, I have a dilemma for myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to attend our state convention.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a voicemail from our state president asking me to be on a committee. Now, okay, no problem. I can do a committee. That's no problem. I usually do the mileage and per diem and, all those other things, whatever they want. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they don't like me. Okay. But they know I can do the job, so they invite me.
Well,
Now,
we.
are they inviting me because I can do the job that they want? They assign me, or is it because we don't have enough people stepping up that they can
Yeah,
induce to do the job,
pretty much.
or is it
Yes,
both? Or
I'd,
is it both?
I would say it's probably a little bit of both.
I
Yeah.
was going to say yes.
I do know that the board agreed that there will be no national candidates being able to speak at convention. So, yeah, it'll be. I don't know. This a booster was okay. We had a postal inspector there as one of the speakers, and we had an EAP rep speaking. And then it was mostly the stewards and putting on their little plays and whatnot.
I love the skits that, like, at our state convention the kids put the skits on,
Uh-huh.
and I tell you what, it's like watching the what do you call those, little orphans?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Little orphans, little rascals, yeah.
Yeah. How choppy and everything they were in reciting their lines. Alfalfa standing there reading it like he's Abraham Lincoln. It's like, oh my God, it's cute, but it's like, oh my God, please stop this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then we had a 2-hour steward Q&A session this morning, so that was really... Oh, we played a game of... Last time they tried to play a game of Family Feud between the two districts. And... Yeah, so this time it was a Jeopardy between the two districts. And my district won. But yeah.
And the first question for $200. Who are the dumbest people you know?
Yeah.
Alex, what are postal management?
Yeah.
You're correct.
And most of them were
You are
true.
correct.
Most of them were true faults, except for the potpourri. But most of them were true faults, and the best, I think, the best ones were the ones with "I read online."
Oh God, yeah.
Or my manager says. Yeah.
I'd like to hear the have that kind of question there for the entire country, and the question would be, how many days can an RCA work before they have to take off? Because in our area it's 8. Across the country, I heard 10, 12, and 14.
365.
I haven't found it in the contract yet, so I'm still looking.
That was in there too. That was one of them. The contract says. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like our district manager, the little Hitler that we have, he wants to start pulling people's casing equipment away from them because of the fact that not all of them are using single spaces. And they were talking about doing it last week. I said, hold it, you're going to do it in the middle of a mini mail survey when you don't know what the routes evaluation is going to be. You don't know who's going to need what equipment, but you want to do this right now. I said, I don't think so. Well, if we want to, we will. I said, start with mine. Well, why? I said, because the fight will be over real quick. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I get 631 addresses, and you're going to pull my half wing off of me?
Mm-hmm.
The only place I have double slots are on each end of each row. It's just make it easier to get the stuff in on the end pieces.
All of our routes are doubled up, 2 addresses per cell. All of them except for 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Our POV route, the big 48K, but even then she's got a few addresses that are doubled, but not a lot. And one of the 42Js. Everybody else is, and I hate casing that way, but I've had to adapt. I learned on single cell addresses, and then you have to adapt.
I don't adapt easily, so I just fight.
Yeah, I'm still in RCA for at least 6, 7 more months, so I still have to adapt.
Bill, I heard under in the phrase dictionary, can't teach an old dog new tricks, that your picture is there.
Well, it should be, unless it contains firearms.
I was going to say something more of a 18 and over version, but firearms works too.
Yeah.
Works for me all the time. What can I say? I'm just a sucker for gunpowder.
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah.
Anything else good we discussed this weekend? Not anything too other than, don't blame the union, because we don't know what's going to happen with the Rex evaluations either. That's been big speech. I know you guys have probably seen the photos of in my state newsletter this month I just got, and it's got all, the pictures of all that. I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, that was Michigan's newsletter. Don't blame the union. Okay.
No, because they're not the ones who agreed to this mess, are they?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's don't blame the union that you're getting posts off the rural info net about things that you should have known a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing that I have a problem with, is and maybe someone should bring that up at these regional conferences. Is, instead of just going with Mailbox Monday, why don't you use your social media manager to post information that the carriers can use, and not just
but they can't hide it behind the password doing that unless they put up the link only for it, which is what I've seen them do, but they only do it as a story, so it only lasts 24 to 36 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then they shut comments off.
Well, and once I saw this posting that came off of Rural Infonet's Facebook page, I had to go back into ours, What's New, to look up the safety talks, and again, it didn't give you much. Let's see what we got. We got a little paragraph, and all it says is that the NRLCA has been notified that unless half the offices have credit for safety service talks entered into the RIM system. The National Rural Letter Carriers Association submitted a proposal to cover the shortage, and it was not accepted. The USPS unilaterally decided to have the safety service time built into the MFS survey under miscellaneous time, which nobody in our office, as far as management was concerned, had any idea. They thought they had to explain service and safety talks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting there going, okay, this is right from the United States Postal Service, and you don't even know about it. And you've been certified trained in the REX program. So they're looking into, our union's looking into the options they have on this issue. But in the meantime, all carriers should ensure that you receive normal talks, and they're included in the mini mail survey until this dispute is resolved. Additionally, make sure they're recording all talks in RMSS from now on. We can't even get them to verify the daily mail volumes, let alone safety and service talk.
Yep.
Folks, I hate to tell you, but we don't have the smartest cards in the deck. Not by a long shot. And it's just scary, God help us. Everybody just die on me?
No, I'm just looking over my my
silent, in
notes.
silence. Yeah.
I mean, in reality, I mean, it really is scary that, we've certified people in training and yet they don't know what the miscellaneous area is for. They're going to fight you over. Don't fight the carriers. Give them, give it to them. It's not going to make that big a difference. It's only 6%. And they fought us on everything, every damn thing. Now, as soon as the 25th comes around this month, one of our carriers is going to be just dropping the prison mail at his case and any parcels and anything. He's not going to scan them because, they wouldn't give him credit to walk it back to the firm area where the correction officer picks up the mail every day.
Yeah.
You're not going to pay me to do it? I'm not doing it. If you have a service failure, it's not on me because you told me it's not mine. And you're going to keep giving me credit for it in the DPS count? I'll take it. Because as long as I handle that mail in one way or another, I get the credit for it. But don't fight the carriers on everything because it's only 6%. Folks, I don't understand where the confusion was. It was in English. It was plain English. It was clear as day. But yet, there you go. You have the same mentality from years ago, even though almost every one of our supervisors has never been through a normal mail count as we knew it in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the carriers that have can't get out of that mindset, or could get out of that mindset.
Well, that was obvious through most of the Facebook comments I saw.
Oh, yeah.
Not a count. We don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the markups, okay? Where'd the markups go? Well, they're factored in. Okay, this is factored in. Okay, where's our, time for, doing our pre-trip inspections on the government vehicles? Well, that's already factored in. And just like the old count, there's so many things that are factored in, and you're sitting there going, where? Where the hell are they factored in?
Right.
Show me where you're factored in. But, don't worry. We trust them. I mean, the post office wouldn't do anything shady, would they?
No, never.
Oh, okay. Thank you. For a minute, I thought I had you stunned.
No.
They can do no wrong.
Uh,
Yeah.
All work at the plant.
I heard yesterday was quite heavy for some people.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, especially, if we're, pulling 8 trays of DPS and,
Oh, I know.
183 parcels,
Yeah.
I'll just say that the first day of the survey, I had 6 tubs of flats in the plant. And I was like, somebody didn't get the memo on this being mail. Somebody didn't dust off the old mail count handbook at the plant because the DPS was not good during the whole 2 weeks. What did I just figure out? I figured I averaged 150 upside down letters a day.
Wow.
For the whole survey.
Well, it was supposed to be business as usual, and for some areas it was.
Yeah, it was, I love the people, well, box holders aren't included in this. No, they're not. You enter that in the scanner,
All year round.
All year round. I had the argument with the gal who was like on authorized discounts. I said, that's for any authorized discount. She goes, no, it's only for businesses and schools. You need to review your paperwork. And I'm like, so I screenshotted the scan guide, the 1-page quick reference guide, and cropped it down to the authorized dismount, and I said it says typically businesses and schools. You mean this paperwork? It says typically businesses and schools. Doesn't say only businesses and schools.
You're right.
Oh God.
Mm.
To be arguing over that, something about that now, after we've been supposedly doing this for a year, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's, yeah.
Or better yet, you say typically businesses and schools and say, well, how do I service the CBUs that are 10 feet off the curb, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have to get out at least to unlock it.
Yeah.
I can throw the mail from the truck, but I have to get out and unlock it.
Well, although we did have an RCA. We did have an RCA in my office who did attempt to do her dismount CBUs from the vehicle.
I couldn't do my dismount ones from the vehicle. That wouldn't be possible, though I do have all but 2 I can actually service from the vehicle on the one route. But those...
I have 12 that I can, they're the old drive-up style, but the rest of them, they're measured. I get, 2 foot a day, 2 feet a day on them. And, and some of them I know pretty much every time I do them, it's, well, this one's going to be 2 trips today. This one's going to be 3, maybe 4, just big because they get lots of little parcels that it's like, they're, and big parcels too. So it's like, well, can I get all of the parcels, the parcel locker ones and the mailbox ones in one trip? I'm going to have to make 2 trips and then a trip for the mail,
Yep.
Well, I've got one to top you there, Mike. Okay, and this goes along the lines of a Josh. We had a new RCA decide that after training, when she was going to take the half the route out and she's getting this one cluster box unit, that it would be better to come from the other side of the street and drive up onto the walkway area where the CBUs, for some reason the builder put an abutment out into the street at the CBU unit so nobody could park directly in front of it, including the postal worker. Okay. And it was like 4 boxes and all, so it was 15, 16 feet long.
Oh wow!
But it was part of the sidewalk, and it was raised up 10 inches. She decided to drive up on there. She only made it halfway, but she made the attempt because the LLV is a little low for a 10-inch clearance on there. And taking that phone call, I'm telling you, somebody had to pee themselves. I mean, God help me if I'd have gotten that, I'd been out there with a phone taking pictures, saying, "You dumbass." But unfortunately, it wasn't me. So, you just can't believe some of these things that people are doing, out there.
Yes, I can.
Oh yeah, I know.
Bill, I served in the Navy for 24 years. Almost nothing surprises me anymore.
Well, it should. It should, yeah.
It really should, but really it doesn't.
You be sitting there and say you can't make this stuff up. No, you cannot make this.
You
can't. That's what I always tease people about. Jerry Springer won't come to Westchester because he keeps hanging up on me when I tell him what's going on. Well, what are you talking about? I said, he tells me I'm a liar. I'm fictionalizing this. He says, don't you have a postmaster knocking up a clerk or something really interesting and true? And I said, no, I'm telling you the truth. Yeah. Then he calls me an effing liar and hangs up. I was like, geez.
Yeah, no juicy gossip here. Sorry. It's just idiots and nimrods.
I mean, you just can't believe some of the stuff that happens. I mean, the first 5 or 10 years of my career at the post office, people would, talk to me and I would, say, oh, this happened. And they'd look at you like, you got a third eyeball in the middle of your forehead. My wife for years didn't believe half the shit that goes on in post office. And those common thing is, well, how do you run a company like that? You self-medicate. That's what you do. Copious amounts of liquid, or or reefer, or whatever your choice is, and say, screw it. I mean, you can't make it up. And no matter what, how many supervisors, how many postmasters, it all revolves around the same damn toilet,
Yep.
Just watch all the turds follow themselves down the hole, and it's like, oh my God, jeez. Oh, I'm tempted to go into management just so I can run the rural carriers, efficiently. But I have a permanent affliction to kissing ass, so that won't work.
Right.
No.
Postmaster would give me a directive in regards to the 8-day rule for RCAs, and I'd look at them, say, screw you, I'll do what I need to do to get the damn route covered.
Yep.
I'm scheduled off Friday. I didn't request Friday off, but I'm scheduled off Friday because Friday is the 17th, which is the same day last month on a Friday that I requested off. So this month she's giving me for the 17th, which is also Friday, off. Guess who's not working? Guess who's not working Friday?
You.
St. Patrick.
There you go. See, you guys figured that out just like that.
Yeah.
It didn't take no time.
It's the day after my birthday too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I have a birthday coming up this week. I'm still the baby. I'll only be 45.
Hmm.
Yeah.
45. That reminds me of 45. Remember when you played 45s on your turntable?
Yes, actually I do.
With a little plastic disc in the middle to hold them on the pin?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember those,
What?
yes.
You had the plastic adapter that went on the turntable deal that would
Yeah.
hold the 40. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the stackable one, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are old.
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was. Yep. I was old enough when it was still a thing to remember it. I was young, but I remember it.
It's like, when you're able to beat your kids in public, and somebody would come up to you and say, do you need help holding them down? Yeah, they didn't call the police on you or anything. They knew your kid did something.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays, they'll be sitting there going, oh no, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. I don't like talking woke politics.
So, we are coming into annual meeting season. What does that mean? Resolutions.
Resolution time, baby.
Resolution time. Definitely. State board elections. All that good stuff. But I think resolutions should be in the next couple episodes on how to properly write a resolution.
Yeah.
Yes. To know that the only way you're going to get a resolution passed on up if it's going to something to affect the entire craft and not just your office.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something that will something, like you said, for the entire craft, not the union, not the steward system, not your state system, the craft.
Yes.
And there's a big difference there, folks.
Yeah.
We've got too many people who are out there on their own interests in the steward system, in the state system, who every year gets the national assignments on whatever referendum or committee that the national people appoint them to. And boy, wouldn't you love to have just one person with experience running a committee and bring in a bunch of new people?
Well,
So
here's
they
this
get a
whole
flavor
thing
for
is,
what's going on.
when they created the leave replacement task force, was there a single leave replacement on that committee?
Hell no.
Probably not.
Wouldn't it be
what-
smart, with the crisis we have with leave replacements right now, wouldn't it be smart to have a leave replacement from each region? Not necessarily region, but you know how we're divided up between mid-states and SAC and SWAC, you know, and that type of stuff. One RCA from each of those regions?
Wouldn't it be smart if the rural carrier engineers that did REX involved some of the carriers?
Right.
I'm just saying, it's just an observation. Yeah,
What?
the same way we were involved in the new generation delivery vehicles.
Oh, yeah. Let's
I
put
don't
them
think
on
so.
inner city, rural routes.
Yeah.
Let's put
God.
something on a true rural route. Come on now.
Yeah, well, can't make this shit up.
No, you cannot.
That's just when they first brought us the FFVs 20 some years ago, and this guy's telling me, oh, this is a collaboration between rural carriers and city carriers and this and that. And I'm looking at it, I was like, well, hold it. I see a couple problems here already, with this vehicle. The guy said, well, we didn't get your input. We got other people's input. I'm like, who? He goes, other people. I said, what are their names? Tell me their names,
Top.
Top people. Top people,
Top
yes.
people. You remember that from Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah.
Who's first? You have top men looking at it. Who?
Yeah.
Top.
Yeah. You're the same guy that didn't know half the things that he was talking about, but yet the top people they got. It's like, okay.
Uh-huh.
I got a problem with your top people right now.
I think we should put something in to create a part-time national board position for an RCA liaison.
Sounds like a personal interest for me in regards to you.
But think about that, though. And
Yeah.
not even just a part-time, to where you're there for meetings, you're doing, the board stuff, but you're still back a part-time position. Doesn't have to be full-time. You're not an NRO. You're still in the trenches.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing...
You go there, they give you per diem and travel and per diem for, you go for like a month at a time or whatever.
Or a
or
couple
once a quarter.
weeks, or, something that, I think... Because you get a lot of RCAs, they're like, well, what good does the union do for us? Everything's...
And because Shirley's a widow, you could stay at her place that we pay for.
No.
Look, I'm just trying to keep it economically feasible, okay?
But you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
Or you could stay with Bridget because nobody wants nothing to do with her.
Oh boy, that just went forward. No.
That's just fine.
No.
Look, I'm a secretary treasurer. I'm looking at the financials here, okay? I'm just
get
trying to
it.
save money.
I get it.
And plus at night you can still sit there and discuss all these things,
Oh yeah.
like an extended,
Yeah.
extended hours with no extra pay.
Hey, that's what happens, isn't it?
Regular rural carriers are used to that.
Yeah.
Not getting paid for what you do.
Yeah.
So, just a thought, folks. I mean, I'm just trying to save the union money. I mean, you might want more bonuses next year. Okay.
What's a bonus?
You get 1.3% of 150,000, which is a shitload more than 1.3 of 75,000.
Or
Oh.
two or whopping 2.3% of $19 and change.
Yeah.
A 44-cent raise. That's not a smack in the fucking face.
What can I tell you? I mean, look, RCA's.
No, the real smack is being an RCA of a length of time. And grant you not, I know there was many out there that were RCAs for much longer than I have been so far. But at the same time, when the new guy's walking in the door and you're the one training them and you're making the exact same amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, RCAs are become PTFs.
Yeah.
In 2
No,
years.
I've been on that bandwagon for quite a long time.
PTFs, they have a structured scale.
Yep.
Because then otherwise you just turn a PTF into a PTF RCA, and they're not gonna be able to go up in pay.
Yep.
You got to cap it somewhere because you soon be outpacing the damn regulars as far as an hourly compensation, though, especially on table 2.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. No,
So,
I do have to agree with that. I mean, not an overly large increase, but to be making like $1 more than the guy when you have 8 years in than the guy that's just walking in off the street, or 5 years or more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
just a little bit more, nothing extravagant, but just a small. Maybe like I know it's been talked about step increases for RCAs. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be 10, 15, 20 cents an hour or even a quarter. But when you are going up that line and you've got that time in, at least you're making a little bit more than the new guy walking in the door.
Right.
Yep.
Just a little.
Not a lot, but a little, because
No.
I don't see, like again, you're going to be then competing with the PTF and the Table 2 regulars.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got some people out there who have been putting up resolutions. I was talking to one this weekend. He's already got like 20 of them, with a few more on the brain. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I'm going to try. I invited him to the Discord channel last night, so he was the one on the general chat to pop in and wave on. But, I think right now, with annual meetings coming up and leading on into state conventions and then national in a few months, that resolutions should definitely be the hot topic for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I can't wait for like I said, I'm torn between doing the state convention or not. I probably should because I've got 67 vacation days I have to use somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Well, when's the last time we all had off?
Last weekend, but that was the first time since last year. So no, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's out of my 6 requests I put in, only 2 of them were personal. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll have Friday off because misscheduling by the supervisor because it's so hard doing 18 routes. It's like, oh, God,
Right.
And we have another trainee going through the academy next week.
We've got one that I think should be starting academy towards the end of the month.
And it's like, wow, we're going to have almost seven RCAs. Actually 5.5 because we got the one that he doesn't speak English well. He was all right and got back at 8:45. We got the other one who he wanders in around 9:30, 9:42 or whatever. Oh, then that was another thing, a topic of discussion. And I love it because Saturday morning I get phone calls from the carriers. Bill, why do they do this when you're not here? They have these announcements. They're going to start bringing outside people into discipline for people who are late. Anything more than 5 minutes late, and you're going to get disciplined. Okay.
But don't clock in a minute early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Aldo said, well, if I'm going to be more than 5 minutes late, should I just call out sick? Yeah, better to have an open route than somebody there late a little bit,
Yeah.
And then the other one is, and if you have personal issues, family issues, you can talk to me on the side, and we'll see about setting up a reporting time for you. Huh? What? Are we talking disparity of treatment? Are we talking, we're friends and I'm not friends with Bill, so you can come in whenever you want, but Bill has to be here on time?
Yeah.
I purposely clock in a minute early or a minute late at least once a week, just to piss them off. And they sit there and go, well, why are you early? I said, I guess my finger hit it too early, or, it registered late. I don't care. What are you going to do? Write me up? Go ahead. I'll talk to the steward. Oh, I am the steward. Yeah, dumbass.
Pretty much. So, yeah, it'll be interesting with these conventions coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to being able to hang out with Mike again in May. That'll be fun.
Yep. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
If I'm not too busy doing host state stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'll at least get a moment to say hi, Mike, a hug, and then be off again. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find an opportunity to go drinking at some point.
Yeah. There's always the banquet.
Nah. You drink, Mike?
Bill, I was drinking a Yingling while we were talking here. Something I can buy in the state of Kansas now.
There you go. Now, did you get the regular Yingling or the black and tan?
The regular.
Try the black and tan. That's pretty good too.
Well, I know Guinness black and tans are really good, tasty, the way I define them. So I'm a fan of black and tans.
Yeah, try it. You'll like it because it's a little more flavorful without having a lot of aftertaste to it.
Okay.
So
I'll have to see if they carry it.
We went up and looked at a townhouse in Chester Springs today, and we stopped at a burger beer joint, and I had a Yule's Pilsner, because it was the closest thing to a normal beer they had. Everything else had dark chocolate, toffee, coffee, light chocolate, medium chocolate, cloves, fruit, and more fruit. And I'm sitting there going, and I can't stand, like, my son loves the IPAs with all the hops in there. If I want a drink like that, I'll get some bay leaves and cloves. I'll ferment them on the windowsill for a month and then drink that crap. Okay?
Yeah.
I do like a good blood orange, but yeah. And a raspberry.
Yeah. The only thing that stuff's good for is marinating a roast in, I mean, really, it's just, I just sit there and laugh. It's like, how the hell do you think this is delicious? Refreshing or anything else?
Some of it, yeah, I definitely can see your point on that.
Yeah.
I like a good raspberry or a blood orange, but that's really...
Well, that's like, the first time I had a Blue Moon, and the beer comes over, it's got an orange slice on it, and I'm like, what? And he goes, well, it's a Blue Moon. I said, yeah, I didn't ask for a fruit cocktail. Or, of course, you've got your lime, okay, with the Coronas.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I mean, hello. Am I missing something here? No, I'm not. It's all. it's all a novelty and everything, you know. I mean, it really is, and it's just, I give me a nice, clean, refreshing beer, and you know, one that, you know, when you turn around and you drink it, and you know, there's no aftertaste. There's, you know, just beer. It's refreshing. It shouldn't be overwhelming. What do I know?
True.
True. What do I know?
Yeah.
But no, it's I like my Crown Royal apple, or I'll even drink the salted caramel now, because that's pretty dang good.
I've been wanting to try that. They were out when I went to get some, so I was going to wonder about the salted caramel. I wanted to try that one.
And then, of course, in the summer, I'll get the peach with the gallon of Breyers ice cream and make my Crown Royal peach milkshakes.
Oh, that would be
Those-
good with the peach. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, those were a hit.
I can't
Yeah.
do peach.
Hey, it's a peach milkshake. That's all it is. It's like on the
No.
Chick-fil-A.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Bill. I can't do peach.
Oh, it's one of those things, huh?
Had a girlfriend in college who got drunk on peach schnapps one night.
Oh,
And let's just say I had a bad experience.
okay.
I get it. Yeah, I've been wanting to try the salted caramel. That looks good.
I just wanted to know if that was the night you lost your virginity.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. But
What
So
was
it
going to happen that
before.
night didn't.
So now we know it happened before then, Kristen. Okay.
Mhm.
I know what you mean. I'm Irish German, and I cannot stand the smell of cooked cabbage. It brings back bad memories from when I was a kid. And I mean, if I smell it, I'll turn around and walk right back out of a house or a restaurant. But it doesn't matter. I can't handle it. It's one of the few psychological things that has ever bothered me in my life.
I'm that way with cheap tequila. Ugh.
no,
Ugh. No. Me and cheap tequila do not get along.
But back to Rex.
Yeah. Let's see what happens if they actually come out with these new evaluations on the 20th.
Well, and you know, people out there, you know, post on some comments in here. You know, let us know what what you go through, what the results are. 'Cause
We're curious, jump in on the Discord or the Facebook page or join the group. Definitely want to know how everybody is going to fare in this. This is going to be interesting.
yeah, I mean, and I'm going to be interested in seeing how it is across the country.
Yes.
Not specific areas themselves. That somehow or other are generally affected by it than others. Ben's area out there in the middle of the country where there's no Amazon and everything. I mean, he's probably going to be less affected because of the fact that no Amazon's not out there. Whereas in our area, we're getting smeared because Amazon's all over us. I mean, and they're back to using the private deliveries again out of vehicles.
Yeah, we've got we just got private delivery out of vehicles on a couple of our areas. So, I mean, that's not going to affect us for those first 52 weeks, but, what's the next 6 months going to look like?
Right. So, everybody's saying, oh, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. Well, you've got 6 months to figure it out, and then another 6 months. And then, here's my problem with this whole thing. How do you regulate? How do you justify a household budget every 6 months?
Yeah.
How do you turn around and get a mortgage or a car loan?
I mean, that's what everybody's. I mean, when this thing first started coming about, everybody was scared that, their evaluation was going to change, each pay period.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that's not going to be the factor, but 6 months for some routes could be a huge change.
Mm-hmm. So, you have to turn around and adjust your lifestyle and everything else according to the evaluation.
Yep.
And then 6 months from now, guess what? You might be higher or lower. And, okay, what if it's $100 a pay period lower?
Yeah, that's quite a bit for
Okay,
some people.
Now you're squeezing your utility bill or your car payment,
And if you got newer regulars on table 2, I mean, that $100 a paycheck could be detrimental to them.
Hey, Kristen, I've had people quit the union just over the cost of union dues.
Yeah.
And people go, well, that's not that much. If you're a single mother, yes, it is.
Absolutely.
If you're single and you're living at home with your parents who are retired and somewhat disabled, that's a problem. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
folks. If you live in some of these higher cost of living areas, you're not getting paid anything different than somebody that lives in a lower cost of living area. So that definitely makes a difference. And that could be the difference of paying your rent or your mortgage that month.
Right.
Or your car payment. Or, kids need a new tennis shoes for school. Oh, well, I didn't have a very good past.
Maybe I won't be able to afford to buy Crown Royal anymore.
Oh, no.
That would be a tragedy.
That would definitely be a tragedy.
I got enough for Christmas to last the next Christmas, though.
There you go. There you go.
The boys come in and say, Dad, why don't you just put a Crown Royal flag out on the front yard,
Mother doesn't want to make it look like that I have a drinking problem.
The only time I have a drinking problem is when I run out.
Yeah.
Make a quilt out of the Crown Royal bags.
Bags, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I was going to make booties for the grandchildren out of them because they have the ties on them,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stick their foot in there and just tie the little, booty on.
I think I've seen patterns for pants made out of them, too. That could be stylish.
I could see making a thong out of one.
Oh, yeah, you had to go there.
Yeah, I had to go there. I'm sorry. Some people say it's a curse. I think it's a gift.
Well, if you incorporate the string into it, you'd have a G-string, and, you could probably get away with only using one bag.
Yeah. Use the one bag and tie a couple extra strings on there. Yeah, that'll work.
Mike's like, what am I doing here? I do not want to see this.
I have one word to say to you, Mike.
Okay.
Caligula. I rest my case.
Oh boy.
What can I say? I'm just, I love historical pieces.
Right. I have yet to be able to watch that, but it is on my to-see list.
I'm telling you, when you see it, you're going to be repulsed and attracted, grossly attracted to watching the whole movie.
Kind of like a train wreck. You just can't look away.
Yeah.
You
can't watch if you can't look away. Yep.
What was it on the series Taxi? How Louis and all them guys met, his group. They were the last 3 to leave a fatal accident.
Yeah.
It's like, I know what you're talking about. Because I'll tell you what, it is like that. Certain people are attracted to tragedy. Me, I
Yes.
prefer calling it, but anyway.
Maybe that's why we all work at the post office.
You can't make this shit up, folks.
No, you cannot.
Let's see. Let's see. I got a grievance for one of the subs who is the sub of record not working on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I have a 2-hour grievance for him because he was scheduled in and then they sent him home. So he's getting paid for those 2 hours. I've got one carrier who is not scheduled, but in. That's what they do. They put NS on your drop days, and then they scribble in the word in, to let you know that you're required to work. And then I have one carrier who is gone from RD7 to RD20 to RD17 in a matter of hours. My route's covered. And yet one sub, Andrew Hour, is perpetually getting Saturdays off. Now, how the hell's a sub getting Saturdays off?
I don't know. I have to ask for them off.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was the point of having subs.
Yeah.
No, what do I know? But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 subs on record right now for 18 routes. And all the routes are K routes. So at any given time, let's see. Oh, everybody could have their drop day, couldn't they?
Yeah, in theory.
I mean, if you have 7 subs and there's 6 days a week, 6 times 7 is 42, isn't it?
Yeah.
40.
So since there's only 18 routes, you have twice as many subs as you need to give everybody a drop day. So why isn't that working?
Can't tell you.
Because
No.
postal logic doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Postal logic is an oxymoron.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's one of them things where, folks, if you're looking for intelligence, don't enter a post office. I have a suit. Where my case is where our little Dutch door is for handling customer complaints off to the side from the window.
Uh-huh.
And they open the top half, and this one supervisor gets up there, and she's talking for 10 minutes, and I'm listening just because I'm nosy, and I'm not quite sure what the hell she's trying to explain. And after about 4 or 5 minutes, the guy says, "What are you trying to tell me? Because I can't understand what you're saying." And she goes, "Well, I have very good English." She says, I understand the language. I don't understand the words in regards to the issue I have.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, she sounded like a politician, because she was yakking her ass off and nothing was coming out as far as intelligence is concerned. So, there's your next president.
I see Josh finally joined us. Are you there, Josh?
Is Fish and Chips here?
Yep.
Yep.
Not going to the restaurants that are too cheap to cook the meal.
How was your week, Josh?
My week was not too bad. I had a new RCA start.
I'm sorry.
Who actually used to be a clerk or some type of clerk profession in New Jersey, moved down here and couldn't get transferred, so was told to stay in the system. They can apply for a carrier position.
Gotcha.
They actually, she started training with me Thursday and jumped right in, started grabbing flats and raw mail in the case, trying to figure it out. So I'm
good.
hoping
Wow.
has training Friday the 17th, which I found out is orientation.
Really?
So, yeah. Um, Still haven't seen any paperwork for any of the day. I apologize. Last or Wednesday, was it the 30th, 29th, or 1st, rather? The ADR was there and said something to them about they're supposed to be giving us our daily numbers. Thursday, when I came in, we got a printout with all of our numbers on a single printout for Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Haven't seen anything since.
Yeah,
Said
sounds
something
right.
to him this Wednesday when the ADR was filed. Question 4 was, is management justified in not participating in the mini mail survey? And in my statement, wrote not getting our daily numbers, not getting the
Radar
radar
report.
report, and like 2 other items. I forget what they are off the top of my head on my statement, and had the 2 carrier. Oh, and them not counting our mail until after 10 o'clock every day from the hot case. And had the 2 other, my 2 cohorts in my zone sign that statement also. He said he talked to, he told me later that he talked to the manager and told him he told him the week before that he had to start printing the radar report, and still haven't said anything. Saturday, Saturday morning, or Friday, I said something to, the 204B about the numbers. She's like, it's just me. I'm the only one. I'll have it. I'm the only one doing it. When I get a chance, I'll get it. And I'll give you the paper with all the information by the time you come back. Saturday, by the time I left, it still wasn't printed,
Oh, of course not.
and they have until Tuesday to finalize their entries. And I want to make sure that they have our miscellaneous time for the stand-up talks, which are on my 4240 every time they have one. How long they were from the moment they called it to the moment they dismiss.
We were discussing earlier the fact that ruralinfo.net's Facebook page had put up the letter from the post office and the union in regards to us getting the service talks under the miscellaneous times, and that there was only a 1 paragraph from the post office in regards to the miscellaneous time, and they were still fighting about getting the time from back before this because they weren't putting it into the RIM system. And I'm sitting there going, well, do you expect them to do anything on time? Ever?
Right?
Well, and that's why the post office, that's why labor agreed to allow it as miscellaneous time in the first act, because they weren't doing it in most cases.
Mm-hmm. Well, how are you
And
going to
I
do
know,
something if you haven't been trained correctly?
allegedly they were.
Oh, you're right. Allegedly.
I can only go by what information that was given to me, that management was given that information.
And I was at training with my supervisor, but guess who was on vacation for the last week of the mini mail survey? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Our supervisor showed up for 2 days out of the mini mail survey. She was at training during the survey. Not survey training, some other type of training. Yeah, it's like, folks, are you kidding me?
Yep. So, Josh, do you agree with us? We should start over the next few weeks, start talking about annual meetings and resolutions.
I think we should.
All right, got everybody
Are
on
we
board with
still
it.
are we still going, or have you already wrapped up for the night? Just so I know where we're at.
We're getting close to winding down for the night.
Okay. See, I figured I would just stay in the background until y'all wrapped it up, but y'all called me out.
I did call
Yeah,
you out.
which is fine.
You know, that at least
Which
gets
is
you on
fine.
for a couple minutes. No, today's just been a day of potpourri, I guess is what we should call it. Wasn't really salted peanuts. It was more of a hodgepodge.
Yeah, I'll hear it in the next day or two.
Yeah. We're right at about an hour here, so hour and 10 minutes actually. And I know I'm exhausted after my weekend, so I'm gonna start my next week of seeing how
Did you learn
interesting.
anything, or
Yeah,
not really?
not really. Just pounded in the same stuff they've been telling us for a while, so you know. Answering the stupid questions about Rex.
Oh, well, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. But on that note, Mike, what's your final words for this evening?
Oh, what do I want to say? You know, I guess in going back over all this stuff on Rex, as the RX, folks, educate yourselves. If you're waiting for someone, don't wait for someone to do it. This is your paycheck. No one should care more about it than you. If you're given a link or to the information, follow the link and read it yourself and ask questions until you understand it. It's your pay. Act like you care about it. That's all I got.
Josh, I know you weren't on here very long, but what do you
Right.
wish?
Well,
What your well wishes for this next week?
um, I was just going to say, if you haven't been doing all of the extra scans and you just recently did, keep in mind it's not going to show up this go round. You might take a hit, but in 6 months you'll recoup. 6 months after that, which is a year from now, you'll be back to where you should be. Like Bill has said multiple times in multiple episodes, focus on a few at a time, learn them. Once you get those down, focus on another two or three until you completely understand all of those extra scans and what they're used for and when to use them. Hopefully by this Friday, people will start getting their actual results and what their new evaluations will be. They have till Tuesday to finalize entering the information. So after that, it's just a matter of the system printing it out. If you get overwhelmed, take a step back, take a deep breath, step back in, and get back at it. And have a good week.
Bill, dear, your turn.
Oh,
Your final ramblings for this evening.
ramblings. If I had feelings, they'd be hurt right now. Okay.
It's all good. You love me. I get it.
Oh no, it's over, folks. You still minimize some of the issues in regards to grievances. They're going to ask you to sign the paperwork saying that you're going to meet your 20/80 hours. I'm not signing. I'm not guaranteeing anything on the basis of this is the first time we've had this mini mail survey, aka count. So I'm not sure that it's been done correctly, and I don't have proof that everything that I'm entitled to is on the sheets, because they can't provide that information to you in a timely fashion. And if they're claiming that the radar reports are basically anywhere from several days to several weeks behind, then how are you going to confirm that before this becomes policy as far as your paycheck's concerned? I'm highly skeptical about it. In this day and age of technology, that they can't get this done right. That they've had 5 years to get this right. They had an extra 6 months from September to get this right, and the post office has made no effort whatsoever to do it. So I'm not signing nothing, and I will sign that I'm not signing it. And you're entitled to do that too.
Yes, you are.
In the meantime, just do your job the way you're supposed to, the way you've always done it. No cheating, no shortcuts, no fouls or errors. Just don't give them any excuse to question, what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're doing it. Okay. Keep your head on a swivel when you're behind the wheel. Watch your kids, dogs, errant drivers, student drivers, elderly drivers, people like me, and get home safe at the end of the day. Get home to your loved ones, because you're the most important delivery of the day. And you hear me say that, and I mean it. The last thing I want to hear or ever read is like today, they found that the lady who was mauled to death by the 5 dogs, it was accidental. There's no charges being pressed. And I'm sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. You lost your life over this job, over some out of control animals with a history. That's how little the post office cares, because they won't pursue it on her behalf or her family's behalf. Get home, be safe, be with the ones that love you and you love. Okay?
Yeah, and add on for what Bill was saying, you do not have to sign that paper. I do know that the ADRs and DRs, if you choose not to sign, we were informed that, hey, you don't have to sign it, but at least put a statement down on why you refuse to sign it. That way, if something comes back, then they've got it in paper for you to help out. So
By signing, you're agreeing to that you feel everything was accurate.
right, and if you want to refuse to sign, just write a statement on why you refuse to sign. That you don't agree with it or whatever. That way, if something was to come up and a grievance needs to be filed with it, then they have a reasoning on why you refuse to sign. So, it's just a CYA. On that note, people, we should find out within another week or so how these evaluations will be affected, and pop in and leave us a message and let us know how you fared. We're kind of really curious to see what happens across the country with our family and this interesting new system that's finally coming into play. So, on that note, everybody take care, have a good night, and stay safe.